Hi, netball fans. So, I am now going to give you my update and my thoughts on Saturday's games and the teams playing on them. Just a quick correction from yesterday. Nogueira, obviously, for Manchester Thunder is out and Kerry Almond is in. Sorry, that I knew that already. I don't know why we didn't talk about that. And actually, I think that makes Manchester Thunder stronger. Not that they needed to be any stronger at all, but she is. Kerry Almond is a great player. She's got the wealth of knowledge, the experience. She's going to be real good in that back position at goalkeeper to command her players. She's also got some height on her, so she's going to be able to stop the taller shooters. She basically brings everything. She's very intelligent. So what you're going to see is a very structured back defence. Like they needed any more strength. Anyway, going on to Saturday. First up, we've got London Pulse versus Surrey Storm. So a quick look at London Pulse. Their back defence is phenomenal. You've got Halima Adio and Lindsay Keeble at the back. Wowza, we saw Halima Adio in games before, and she is just phenomenal. She can fly on things, she can mark things, her jump height is incredible. Lindsay Keeble, 1.91 metres, but she's not tall and static, she's in moves now, and is just fantastic. Those two together are going to cause lots of problems, I think, for a lot of shooting combinations, because of the fact they can shut down the movers and they can shut down the back and apps as well. And they switch really well too. And then you've got Fumi Fadoju to throw in there too. She is a youngster coming through. We've seen her last season. I've seen her at the age groups for England, and she is just phenomenal. Her ability to read something and get to it is quite outstanding. And I think she's just, you've got to see her on court. The turnovers are just going to be crazy. I don't think she'll start many to start off with. I think she'll be an impact player because she'll come on and she'll just cause absolute chaos. So she is definitely one to watch. She's probably one of my favourite players. And then obviously in the mid-court, you've got the Jamaican Nadine Thomas. Her feeding ability for Siggy Berger is just outstanding. I feel like I'm being too positive, but it really is positive. She's, Jamaicans are known for their style, their ability to feed these tall shooters, and she's also, her speed and her flair are going to cause some real problems. So a lot of teams are going to have to really put pressure on her, try and keep them up court, arms over, and pressure that feed in, because that's going to be a tough one to beat. And then you've also got the likes of Michelle Drain, same as Caroline O'Hanlon, very experienced for Northern Ireland, very experienced player, has been in the Super League for a while. Ashley Decker and Ellie Ratu, younger players coming through, but I don't even know if we can call them young anymore, because what they produce on court is brilliant and, is well deserved of a Super League place. And then in their attacking end, you've got Radman. Not going to even attempt the first name because I'm going to say it wrong. And Siggy Berger. So two South Africans who know each other really well. And, again, the feeds are going to be there. The playing together is going to be there. And you've got Olivia Tasheen. Now, she is one of my favourite players as well, because she's a little bit sassy and she can hold her space and she can snatch that ball in and she doesn't get bossed around on court. And I love that. And then obviously some youngsters of like Emma Thacker and Kira Rosswell coming through as well. So they've got loads of potential here in this London Pulse squad. And they've got Sam Bird obviously pulling them together, who is a fantastic coach. So top four, I think they've got potential to do the top four. I think they're going to have to progress throughout the season as a team to hit the top four, because there's some really strong teams this year, but they do have potential to get into that top four. So pre-season they lost to Lightning, they beat the Celtic Dragons, and then they lost to Manchester Thunder. So they will be up against Surrey Storm. So Surrey Storm this season, what do we think about Surrey Storm? Shall I take a breath? I think Surrey Storm have a mix of superstars and youth, and I think this is where Mickey Austin has been very clever in her selections. So, for instance, let's look at defenders. They've got Kwangwa. Sorry if I've said that wrong, probably have. Played in the Netball World Cup for Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe obviously finished 8th in this Netball World Cup. And she had the most deflections and 3 players of the matches in that tournament. What a great signing there by Mickey Austin. She's got a point to prove. She wants to play Suncorp. She's really excited to be over and playing in the UK. And I think she is going to be one to watch and a really good addition to that squad. Because of the fact that she's got that point to prove. And then obviously you've got Leah Middleton at the back as well, who has come over from Australia and New Zealand. We saw a bit of her before. Sorry, not from New Zealand, from Australia. We saw a bit of her before, but not enough. She has more to give, I think, than we've seen already. And then you've got a couple of youths coming through as well. You've got Grace Sullivan and Alima Priest at the back as well. So I think It's a great combination there of youth and experience. So it's going to push those youngsters up, but also it's looking like a really tight defensive unit there at the back. And then the shooters at the front, you've got Karen Bailey. Obviously, they lost Siggy Berger's pulse before, not just this season, and Karen Bailey stepped in that role. It's the same style, you know, they've got the same style of play roughly, holds really well, really hard to beat, can get that space really well. And then you've got Frankie Wells with her as well. Frankie Wells has again had a lot of experience, wasn't playing last season, I don't think, don't quote me on that because it might not be correct, but again has come up through age groups in different franchises and is a really good player. And then Emma McGee. We talked about Michelle McGee before. Michelle McGee being at Rhinos, from Northern Ireland as well, Northern Irish player. Emma McGee, another phenomenal player from Northern Ireland. Another one that I think is going to step it up to the plate this season, and we're going to see her play. And she's just going to progress in leaps and bounds. She's already brilliant. She's going to be even better. Mid-court, you've got the captain, Yaz Parsons, Mickey Austin. I mean, Yaz, we saw again in the England All-Stars game. I don't think you saw the best from Yaz there. Yaz plays really well when she plays with Surrey Storm. She knows where to feed the ball. She can drive into those pockets. She's a really strong player, good at changing direction and really athletic. So I think you're going to see some really good play from her this season with that link up with the attacking players. Mickey Austin, obviously, we don't really need to talk about Mickey Austin, do we? Because we know her history. She's fantastic. Neve Cooper in at wing defence, maybe. You've also got Nicole Humphreys there and Emily Golvin as well coming. Well, I think it's her third season actually, but again, she still reminds me a bit of a youngster, so still someone coming through in my opinion. When you look at the experience of the likes of Neve Cooper in wing defence, you know, the Northern Irish player. I think they've got a good mix, a really good mix. I think that they're going to build as the season goes on. I don't necessarily think that they're the strongest they can be yet, and it will take time. Will they get into the top four? I'm sure they want to. I think they're going to have a lot to do to get there, if I'm honest. Just looking at the lineups, that's not to say they can't. In my opinion, I think they're going to struggle to get there. They lost to get Mavs preseason 79-50. They lost to Wasp 59-41. When they play Pulse predictions, I think it's going to be a really good one. I think it's going to be really close. My prediction at the moment would be a Pulse to win by 5. But we'll see. It could go either way, but I'm going to put my head on the block and say Pulse by 5. Then we've got Team Bath versus Celtic Dragons. So we talked about Celtic Dragons yesterday. I talked about the key players there. The one thing to note about Celtic Dragons playing up against Bath is the likes of Laura Rudland, Shona O'Dwyer and Layla Thomas have been through the pathway at Bath at some point in time. So people at Bath are going to know those players. Is that an advantage? Yes, it is sometimes, because actually when you've been with a team and they know your strengths and weaknesses, then they know better how to expose them. However, it doesn't mean everything. There's a lot more, obviously, to netball, but that's a key point for that team, is that they are going to have those people that know them. Team Bath, however, oh my goodness, they're really strong. Kim Borger, Betsy Creek, Sophie Diel, Hannah Passmore in their shooting areas. I mean, Kim obviously is from Australia, and she made such an impact last time. She's very solid in that attacking end for Bath. And then we've seen Sophie Diel come on in leaps and bounds. I'd say in the past, a few seasons ago, you might have seen sometimes Sophie Diel get a bit lost on the outside of the circle and not necessarily doing those drives through, and sometimes a few too many spins. But actually at the moment she seems to be really on top of that, and we saw her in the England game. She was on form, so if she can keep that form into these games, then she's going to be great. Hannah Passmore, a younger player coming through, again can hold her space. Betsy Creek, again, we've not seen too much of her in the past. She's actually a Welsh international, and she can hold her space really well as well and move. You know, they can all move. So Bath, you're probably going to have more of a holding shooter and then a moving goal attack. You may well, with a Betsy Creek at the back, have a moving circle as well. Well, I guess we'll see. Mid-court, you've got the likes of Jess Shaw, Rachel Shaw, Abby Robson, Serena Guthrie, Imo Allison. I mean, that's just a plethora, isn't it, of names. We know Serena Guthrie, we know Imo Allison from the internationals. Abby Robson, again, a younger player that's coming through now to make her name. The Shaw sisters, they've been around for a long time, lots of experience. So they've got a nice, strong experience mid-court. And then at the back, you've got Ebony Usero Brown, Layla Guska, Shati Curtis, Tash Pavlin. Ebony and Layla, is is great, isn't it? I would say, looking at this lineup, you've got some phenomenal players again. You've got some real strength. I'd say the midcourt is going to be a real strength for them, especially if you look at having like an Imo Allison on wing defence and a Serena Guthrie at centre. I think against Celtic Dragons it will be a good game. I think Bath will come out with the win. I think what we'll see is a lot of the feistiness in the midcourt, and I think the midcourt will be possibly where Bath take the lead. I think they'll win over that midcourt battle. Bath in their pre-season beat Maverick 68-61. They lost to Stars 53-59, but let's bear in mind when they did that, they didn't have their internationals playing because they were quarantined at that point in time. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a feisty battle, but I do think that Team Bath are going to win by quite a lot. I would give Bath the win. I'd probably guess at about 15 to 20 goals. It wouldn't surprise me if it was a little bit more. They have a strong squad. I guess again, we will see. And then our last game is Sirens versus Stars. Again, we talked about Sirens yesterday. I spoke about how I thought that they would be playing really well as a squad. A lot of them know each other. They've played together a long time. And they have that Scottish thread running through them about the fact that their management team is really strengthened, and the fact they've got the support of Tamsin Greenway potentially as the Scottish coach. I know she's not in the Super League. And I don't know whether I crossed lines by saying that, but my politics is rubbish anyway. But obviously, and then Karen Atkinson, technical director. You couldn't ask for too much more experience, could you? For if you got a question, just call someone up. Let's just have a chat with T, shall I? Anyway, Stars. They have Melissa Hyman this year. So obviously, Sam Bird went to London Pulse. Sam Bird, again, I think is a fantastic coach. Melissa Hyman taking on this head coach role. We know Melissa Hyman from years gone by. I make it sound like she's really old. She's blatantly not. Taking Wales from 19th to 8th in the world. She took Celtic Dragons to the playoffs. And actually the playoff finals, obviously, of the Super League, just in case I needed to clarify that. So she has a record that shows how good she is. And she's been around for a bit. She's been assistant coach in different places. And now she's come out as head coach here. And I haven't met Melissa, but I've heard that she's amazing. And look at the front lineup here. We've got Georgia Rowe. Georgia Rowe is obviously a target shooter, but she can move as well. She's really, 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 really tall. But she's actually really accurate. So she doesn't actually need to be under the post always to shoot. She can be further out. She can still score. Now, this causes a problem for teams. She's got to make sure she gets hands to ball and pull them in. Obviously, Paige Reed as goal attack, or Jane Taylor or Lucy Herdman. I mean, Lucy Herdman can play and goal shoot as well. Paige Reed and Jane Taylor give you that speed. They're both really quick on their feet. Paige is very quick at changing direction. Jane Taylor is really quick at driving through. I think it might be Jane's first season as a full VNSL player, but I get confused with 2020. I mean, everybody does, don't they? We'll bin that one off. So it might be a second. But she is a really good player. So they have the shooting power in their shooting circle. They have combinations. They can have a moving circle. They can have a holding shooter. They can vary up which strategies they use. So it'll be interesting to see which one they do go for. Then out the front, you've got Liana Leota, and everybody, I'm pretty sure watching this, will be doing the same. Everybody wants to be Liana Leota, or they want to be friends with Liana Leota, right? Just the no-look passes. I mean, we saw it, didn't we, in the All-Stars game when she played. She is outstanding. She needs no introduction. I'm pretty sure that every netballer will know her, but she can get that pinpoint accurate ball there. And you know what? If she doesn't one time, it's going to go in the next time. She doesn't put her off. It never puts her off. She just laughs and moves on. And that's what you need in your team. You need people that if a mistake is made, they get the ball back, and then they just, they still put those balls in next time because it's open, not hesitating because they're not sure whether it's on or not. If it's on, she'll give it. And she is amazing at making people look stupid. I'm sorry, defenders, I'm a defender. And she is the kind of person that makes us look silly because we go on the ball that we think she's going to give and she pops it somewhere else. And let's not even, we don't even need to talk about those balls that were going out of the court that she gets, turns in the air, throws it pinpoint accurately to a one-on-one attacker. Ugh, too good. And then you've obviously got Beth Dyke, Lucy Harris, Nia Jones. Nia Jones can obviously play in the middle. Beth Dyke, pocket rocket, is going to give you those pocket drives. And again, another really good feeder. The connection between her and Georgia Rowe from playing in Wales is very good. And then at the back, Malaysia Kelly. Might have said that wrong again. None of these names could be right. I'm really bad at pronunciations. As the season goes on, I'll get better, I promise. But there's no one to ask at the minute, right? A Jamaican defender. She has played in Australia and New Zealand. She's been out with an ACL and she's come to play for Stars. Wowzer. She is awesome. This is going to be exciting. You have her at the back. You've got Adi Balakaro. Again, probably said wrong. The Fijian at the back as well. Used to be at Celtic Dragons, and we've seen her play for Fiji. She is wonderful. And we've actually seen her play for the Armed Forces as well. If you watch the Netball Europe with the Armed Forces in, she played there. She's just a really good player. And Nia Jones. So you've got lots of feist at that back to really put pressure on. I think that back lineup is going to be quite scary. It can run on stuff, it can hold and defend one-on-one. There can be switches. There's going to be lots of communication in this team, I absolutely guarantee you. And what's going to be really exciting is going to see what Melissa Hyman comes in terms of her style and her structure, and whether how we've seen Stars play before, whether that changes slightly to a more New Zealand type style. So Stars pre-season beat Team Bath 59-53. I did allude to this before. Bath didn't have all their players at that point in time, but Stars didn't have Liana Leota either. She is a key player. Do not underestimate how much of an impact she is going to make. So Stars versus Sirens. Tricky. Again, this is going to be a really good game. It's going to be a feisty game. I have absolutely no doubts. I think it'll be really interesting to see the defense of Stars against the attack of Sirens. I think it will really be whether they can stop those front holds and that movement from the Sirens attackers as to whether they come out with the win. But I think they can, and I think the Stars attack is going to be slightly too much for the Sirens defence, but we shall see. And by the attack I mean the through court attack as well, including the wing defences and stuff, bring that ball through, because sometimes we talk about attack and people think we just mean the shooting circle, but I mean all of it. How do we think it's going to go? I think Stars are going to win, but I think it's going to be close. So I'm going to say Stars by 2. Oh. So that is all of the games then now from Friday and Saturday. Again, like I said, this is all my own opinion. You can ignore it. You can listen to it. I'm sorry if I've bored you for the last 17 minutes. And I'm sorry if I was un-PC. Again, I'm really bad at that. Tomorrow I will hopefully pop up a video of my predictions for the Sunday games, for the Valentine's Day games. And then again, hopefully some reflections as well on the games that we're seeing tonight. I'm really excited. There's not long left. I'm hoping all you netball fans are going to get behind netball, get behind your teams, get behind this weekend, get all of the games on. Tell your other halves that, you know, they're just going to have to do without you for this Valentine's weekend, because netball is back, people, and it is important. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and enjoy the games tonight. Take care.